Welcome back to the Relaxing Ghost channel here on YouTube. As always, your host with the most, Ghost. Today we got our Money in the Bank recap and results review. Gonna run down a few things regarding Money in the Bank. This was a pay-per-view. I didn't know what to really expect going in. And I enjoyed it for the most part. I'm never going to get used to watching wrestling in front of an empty crowd, empty arena, nothing like that. So yeah, this took place Sunday night in the PC Performance Center, and the main event took place in WWE headquarters. There was 7 matches or 8 matches here. They combined both men and women's Money in the Bank ladder matches together. This is pretty much what I expected from the show. No real big title changes. I really feel bad for all the people that are winning or losing championships right now, because it's just unfair. So we had Jeff Hardy defeating Cesaro on the pre-show, which I did not watch. There should not even be a pre-show right now. I mean, really? This was the shortest pay-per-view in quite some time. I believe since 2006. Yeah, this pay-per-view went about 2.5 hours. Main show started out with the New Day retaining the tag titles in a fatal 4-way match. You had Lucha House Party out there. I think the Usos and Forgotten Sons. They're already forgotten. We had MVP versus R-Truth, which turned into Lashley versus R-Truth. I like this. I like MVP. I like Lashley. I like R-Truth. I think MVP is going to make a decent manager if that's the route they're going. Keep his in-ring stuff limited and let him do the talking for guys that can't really talk like Lashley. He looks good. He can produce. He can execute. Third match of the night was for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bayley defeating Tamina to retain the title. Decent match. Not the biggest Tamina fan, but they made her look pretty strong. And, she won with a roll-up, so barely got out of there with the championship. We've seen her and Sasha Banks there, kind of teaming up. Hopefully, they can kind of coast along here and stretch things out as long as they have to. I mean, I'm not saying keep the titles on people for the next, 6 months or a year. If they really have to, I would like to see all champions kind of keep their titles just out of fairness. Maybe a shock title change here and there, but I don't want to see titles flip-flopping around right now. I really want to see Sasha versus Bayley in front of a live audience. Fourth match of the night, another SmackDown title match for the Universal Championship. Braun Strowman defending against Bray Wyatt. Just regular old Bray Wyatt. This was fun. They had, all the puppets at ringside. Huskus the Pig, Abby the Witch, and the Bird, Mercy. these guys were in and out of the ring. This was a hard-fought match. Sister Abigail for a 2 count. And a chokeslam to Bray. And Bray rolls out of the ring. He grabs the black sheep mask, which Braun used to wear back in the Wyatt family days. And Braun's wearing this in the ring. And, Bray Wyatt's freaking out. Eventually, Braun turns the tables and, you'll never get me. Yeah, actually, Bray was wearing it, I'm pretty sure. This was a weird finish. Power slam to retain. It didn't really do much for me, but it was a hard-fought match. 5th match of the night. Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins. I thought this was probably the best match on the show. Good WWE title match. This would have been an awesome match, in front of a crowd. It sucks to keep saying that. This was a good match. Seth Rollins hits a couple high knees off the apron onto the outside, and he's got McIntyre reeling here. Huge belly to belly onto the announce desk. Rollins with a frog splash for only 2. And Rollins hits a super kick and stomp for 2. So Rollins looks like he's going in for another WWE title reign here. So really good back and forth there between McIntyre and Rollins. McIntyre would hit a Claymore, retaining the WWE Championship. Very good match. The 7th and 8th matches were the men's and women's Money in the Bank ladder matches, both taking place simultaneously at WWE headquarters. I really like this. This was really fun to see. And it must have been cold on that roof. Just saying. The middle of April in Connecticut isn't the warmest place in the U.S. They started in the bottom floor. It's being reported that the first moments of the men's match was on the 3rd floor. I'm not sure how many floors are in this building. It's a big ass building. There's probably 8 floors there, 6 floors. So the women start in the bottom. Asuka hitting this huge, diving crossbody. And it's really cool seeing all the memorabilia that's in that building. With the statues, the pay-per-view posters, the chairs. They got so much stuff in there. They don't even know what they have. I mean, there's used props everywhere. There's everything. At one point, they were in the weight room. I'm gonna go through this fairly quickly. We had Paul Heyman with a cameo in the catering, and then we got a big old food fight with Otis. Rey Mysterio gets choked out from Shayna Baszler. Nia Jax powerbombs Carmella through a table. We see the People Power, John Laurinaitis, and he gets a pie in the face from Otis. We see Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles in Mr. McMahon's office, and he's like, "Get out!" So they put the chairs back real quietly, and when they're outside the office, they're like, "Oh, you acted like a real coward in there." "Oh, I did, didn't I?" And then they start brawling again through the hallways. So the women are up to the ring on the roof first. We only see Asuka, Nia Jax, and Lacey Evans up there, and they're going at it back and forth. Corbin is up there. Asuka, knocks Corbin off the ladder, and she grabs the women's briefcase. She is your 2020 Women's Money in the Bank winner, and I'll get to her in just a minute because there happened something on Raw I want to talk about. Otis, King Corbin is still there, Rey Mysterio, Aleister Black, AJ Styles. Seems like all the men made it to the roof. Dana Brooke got, knocked out, slipped and fall, and she was disposed of fairly quickly. Otis hits the Caterpillar on the King Corbin. Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black go flying off the top of the building onto a crash pad down below. It's Styles and Corbin going for the briefcase. Elias with the guitar to Corbin. Styles grabs it. Now here's where things don't make sense. Styles has it. He drops it, Otis catches it, and somehow Otis is your Money in the Bank winner. I'm not sure if the rule is you have to grab it and touch the floor, but, for how many times has the winner just unhooked it and they rang the bell? So I wasn't a fan of the finish. I'm not a big fan of Otis winning the Money in the Bank here, but it's different. It's not your whatever top contender, and maybe they're saying he'll go after the tag titles. Who knows? I don't want to see Otis and Tucker break up. That's typical WWE. I don't want to see it. Otis needs a friend, because I honestly can see Mandy Rose just turning on him in a second. Otis needs a friend. He needs Tucker on his side. He needs at least one friend. He could lose the briefcase as well, so I'm not against that happening. I really don't picture Otis as a WWE champion, World Heavyweight champion, whatever. Is it possible? Yeah. So, that's our Money in the Bank recap. I don't know what to rate this show. It was okay. I'd probably go 6 out of 10. These pay-per-views, they're hard to rate. I gave WrestleMania a fairly good score. I don't think I enjoyed this as much as Mania. So I gave, So I think 6 out of 10, maybe 7 out of 10 if you want to be generous. Let's get to Raw the next night. And Alberto Del Rio was in the news as well. First up, Becky Lynch announced on Raw she is pregnant. So congrats to her. Seth Rollins. She vacated the Women's Championship. Asuka is your new Women's Champion for Raw. This is the perfect time to vacate the women's titles or unify them and put some real emphasis in this women's division. We don't need a Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion. We don't need 2 sets of tag titles for the Raw and SmackDown. They're ending the brand split after 3 years. It's been announced that Fox and USA are interested in Stars cross-promoting and whatnot. So the brand split, I never really believed in it. The whole wild card BS that went on last year and whatnot. So congratulations to Asuka. She is the new Women's Champion. And then we get to Mr. Del Rio. This is just sick. This is disturbing. This guy looks like he's been having a rough time here. Alberto Del Rio has been charged with, I believe, sexual assault. That what went viral on during Money in the Bank, or earlier that day. He looks like he's all tweaked out, or he's on drugs or something. Very graphic details were released from the woman. She made a statement to the police. And look, Alberto Del Rio, he's been in the news before for things like this. He's been accused of things with Paige. Um, Look, I don't wish the guy to, rot in jail, because you never know. His girlfriend here could drop all the charges and he could get off scotch free. Not saying that'll happen, but that's most likely the case here. Um, Look, man, if he's going through a rough time, he's going stir crazy, being at home all the time. There's probably a lot of folks at home that are, just itching at home, wanting to go out and do things. But it's a crazy time in the world right now, and it's better to be home and safe than to the risk getting this virus. So, Alberto was never a favorite of mine. I enjoyed his stuff for the most part. When he went to Impact a couple years ago, I thought that was the wrong move on their part, or Impact's part. I honestly thought the Alberto ship sailed, years ago. He just didn't do it for me. He came off very boring at times. His initial run was great, but after that, he really seemed very boring. Talented guy, but I don't think there's a future for him in wrestling. So let me know your thoughts on Money in the Bank, Asuka, Becky, and this Del Rio news. Thank you all for watching. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace.